Hello everyone, this is LW Gaming and welcome to Hero Showcase. Yep, this is the one I wanted to do for quite some time now, but although as I'm aware, this character is already out for a very long time, so it would be kind of odd for me to record this video right now, but I mean, I just got him on this account, so I might as well do it for those who just got Ricky in a current day, of course, in 2025. So let's talk about what Ricky is about. So Ricky is like think of him as a Takuto the 4, but much more advanced. And also he himself can be a tank as well. And that can be in both of a role of infantry and lancer, which is a huge plus up top of the Takuto the 4, even though they both did pretty good in their own ways. But however, for if you're using Ricky, you have more options of what class you can be because Attacker Took is strictly on infantry on both classes. While on Ricky's case, he can be a lancer as well, not just infantry. That's the one thing that sets him apart from Attacker. So, anyways, let's talk about what this character does in a long time for now. So, anyways, his talent is called Self-Appointed Hero. So this is the one thing that is actually unique about him is that his attack is increased by 15%, and this will increase on higher slot level. I think this one up to 30. No, not hold on. Up to yep, it is up to 30% at 6 stars. So, anyways, let's see what the description says. After taking action, the hero can choose a defense direction, and they gain an effect that, when attacked from the direction of defense, reduces physical damage taken by 10% and then restores HP equal to 1 times of his attack after taking damage. And then this will last for 3 turns, and there's no way you can dispel it. And then he will also gain 2 extra mobility for 3 turns. And then choosing a direction has a 2-turn cooldown. So that means after that third duration on that effect, he's going to be able to select another location he can look at. So yeah, the direction where he's looking is actually a important thing. So he is mostly a tank on the defensive side, but you can use him as an offensive unit as well. So we'll talk about that later down the road. So yeah, depending on where your opponent is attacking you from. So if you if you wanted to know where is he looking at, just look at the character sprite of him, and you'll notice there's like an arrow pointing like specific directions. Like you'll see the one that's pointing right, that means he's looking at the right. So yeah, that kind of stuff. So, anyways, if the enemy is like attacking you from that direction that he's looking at, he's going to take less damage based on what the talent says, which is pretty awesome on his own. And also after battle, he's going to be able to recover some HP after that, which is like basically a self-sustain kind of thing for himself. As for the skills he has, like he starts with his unique skill called Valiant Strike, which is a 2-block attack single target skill with a 3-turn cooldown, and this will deal 1.6 times damage, and this will forces them to move only in straight lines for 2 turns. And this is the one thing I talk about when I think compared to him with Takuto the 4th. It's because he can actually manipulate the enemy's movement from like just freely moving to straight lines only. That kind of deal. And this one cannot be dispelled, which is absolutely nasty. And this will restore HP to all allies by the amount equal to 1.5 times of his attack. And when equipped with melee soldiers, they will also attack at the same time. And this, even though it's a range attack, this can also be used as a melee combat as well. So even though if you really had no other choice but to attack someone at close range, you're not going to get punished for the melee damage penalty, because this does not apply for him. And the other unique skill he can unlock is called Fearless Stance, and this will allow him to take all physical attacks from adjacent allies, and this one enables him to not be stunned at all. And when attacked from the direction of the defense, and this will increase his defense and magic defense by 8%. So as long as the enemy is attacking you from a direction you're looking at, your defensive stats will increase by 8%. And there are other common skills on here, as you can see here. He has Detect, which is the common skill, which Elwin also has. Frontal Assault is also important for him, and since he's a tank, makes sense for him to have Lance Phalanx. Lance Phalanx, I mean. So that way he'll have some ways to protect his allies, just temporarily, of course, because I mean he's really a physical tank. I mean he's not really viable as a full-on tank like Ledin or any tanks in general, because he can only guard you against physical, not magical. And then how you unlock those skills, you go through here, of course. And this one is probably one of those older units, so you can see there are like 3 paths, but one of them doesn't have a final class. So just keep that in mind. So if you chose this route, which is Grand Knight, you get Ram skill, which I don't have here. I mean, you could if you want to, but I don't think that's a worth investment. But I mean, if you really want to use him a lot, then yeah, you may want to do that eventually. But for me, I'm just going to showcase this without using the skill. I mean, this is Ram right here, which is just a common skill, 1C. All it does is just like reduce mobility by 2, and also make them not able to guard, which can be big in some scenarios. But in the current meta, that is preventable, because this one doesn't say ignores immunity. Doesn't say that anywhere here. So at the beginning, you start with that 2C skill that I mentioned earlier, and then when you unlock it along the way, you get Detect as the other skill. And if you maintain his infantry route, you'll unlock his Battle Cry passive skill, which is a 1C. And then on the final class, you'll unlock his passive 1C called Fearless Stance. And then the Attack Support Large for the 2C, which is a passive. And if you end up going for the Lancer route, you'll get this skill called Armor Pierce, which will deal decent damage multiplier, and this will also inflict the enemy's defense reduction by 30% for 2 turns. And then Frontal Assault is the other skill you can get from the Lancer class, and this is the powerful skill, which will prevent enemies from being able to use passive effects. And of course, Lance Phalanx will be on here too. And then as for the arena stones, I went with this setup here, just the basic 3, like HP, attack, and defense. Those are the 3 important factors for him to be like reliable on offense, and as well as sustaining enough damage to survive. And for the soldier choices, I went with Vanguards because you know, reflect damage, and also excellent use for like as a tank role, but you can also use this as an offensive unit as well. But if you want to go full offense, I would say Sensi Mercenary is a better choice for more offensive power. But for now, I'm going to stick with Vanguards. And as for the gear, even though I did say this is not PvP unit anymore, he can be a bit of a tricky unit to bring into the battle. But anyways, it's actually up to you if you want to bring him, but this is the gear I run for him, like Scarlet Reaper, since he does come with an AoE skill on his like 3C, which I'll talk about soon. I also gave him Forbidden Defender's armor, so that way he can reduce certain damage, which he can already did at default, but this will enable him to decrease even more. And since he is somewhat of a tank, Forbidden Forest Helm kind of fits well with him for like being able to like when attacked by enemies with an HP percentage and not higher than this unit, this will increase his defense even further. And of course, if you want to be extra tricky, you can go for the Butterfly Brooch, which will like negate 1 debuff every time when at least 1 per round. And now let's talk about his 3C here, which is called Highlight Moment, which is his signature skill. And what this does, has a command of like enemies in the direction of his defense direction have 20% reduced crit chance. Allies within 3 blocks in the opposite direction gain 15% increased attack and int, which is pretty neat to have. So basically, not only he renders the enemies from like being able to suffer more crit, and also this will support your allies by increasing their attack and int as long as they're in the direction of where Ricky is looking. And now let's talk about what this physical damage does. So this one is an AoE attack that does in 3 straight lines, and it's a 5 block AoE skill range, like 5 blocks long, 3 straight lines, dealing 0.3 times, not 0.36 times AoE damage. And this will dispel 1 buff from enemies that he hits and forces them to move only in straight lines for 1 turn. Nasty. And this cannot be dispelled, but it is preventable by, of course, using the Axiom or Rosensteel's barrier. Yeah, that kind of stuff can actually shut this down, so be aware of that. But in the current meta, I don't think you'll be using Ricky because of this, because this will completely negate that. And the command on this one, like after using the skill, you'll gain a command called enemies within defensive direction. Before actively dealing damage, they will take fixed damage equal to 1.5 times of his attack. If the enemy is composed of mixed forces, this damage ignores immunity, and this will trigger up to 3 times, and this will last for 2 turns and cannot be dispelled. Ew, that's pretty dirty if you think about it. And this is what he does whenever he activates the skill. Pretty striking, to say the least. So let's get into the first stage and see what he's up to. I can imagine, since this is one of those older units, this battle should not be as difficult as it should be, unless you build your units. I don't know. I don't need to be mean, but I just say you didn't build that as effective as what it should be. So, anyways, these are the opponents we'll be fighting here are the protagonists of different installments. So the first opponent we have is the protagonist of Langrisser 2, also known as Elwyn. The second opponent is Dehart, which is Langrisser 3's protagonist. And finally, Landius as Langrisser 4's protagonist. So yeah, the first opponent is we're going to be fighting on a disadvantage, which is going to be pretty nuts to think about. Like, pretty bold from my part, but at least I have an infantry soldier, which will basically do the job just fine. I just need to do this, attack Elwyn head on. Yeah, even though we are at a disadvantage, we still killed him in 1 hit. And now we're going to look upwards. And that is the range of where he's going to be affected on the that damage reduction. And I think for this one we'll just put this here. Phoenix for myself. Even though I'm not guarding anybody, just enable me to do fixed damage. Okay, and now that one's dealt with. Okay, I got Breeze. Oh yeah, speaking of enchantment, I forgot to say this, that I went for Breeze because it allows him to be able to traverse further. Without like him like being in the back slowing down everything. I want him to be able to reach the enemy side as soon as possible, but in reality you're not gonna use him in PvP because he is kinda outclassed already. That was like many seasons ago. Like back before Gintoki even exists, he was pretty good. But unfortunately, due to the current meta shifted, he is out. He is out of the picture. So anyways, let's move on to stage 2. Anyways, here we have the 3 other allies we can work with. So we have Shelfaniel as our ally, Landius, and Angelina. And this is basically a mirror battle. I don't think it will be this difficult, but we gotta ensure that we don't rush in too quickly, you know? And then they will nuke us to death. Okay, would I be able to hit? Okay, only Landius is gonna get hit there, so... Okay. So this Angelina has the act again on herself, so we gotta move away in that case. I'm going to put myself in this direction. Looking that way. And then I'm gonna go right here. The reason I'm moving down here is to ensure that Angelina on the enemy side doesn't reach us with that act against skill. She tried to do it here, but since we're far away, that AoE isn't gonna do much. And since they're positioned like this, I'm gonna be going in right here without act again, and then just AoE them to death. Well, not like that. But this one may do something here. Might as well try to kill Angelina here. Okay, we did it successfully. And I'll move Landius in here to protect Angelina. And looks like that fueled her from fuel her to do that. And my Ricky is guarding. Landius took more damage because of the class advantage there. And then Landius is gonna come in and protect my Ricky. Perfect. Okay, Landius is going down. Okay, and since Ricky is facing the other direction, I can just attack him without him being able to heal. And I'll finish off with Angelina while being silent. And there you go. That's pretty easy to do. As long as you know what you're doing. Basically, you have to make sure that your team doesn't get AoE from the start, otherwise you'll be at a disadvantage. And that's it. Highlight moment. I'll show you what the animation looks like when the animation on this one, you don't really need to go. You don't really need to have animations on because this is AoE attack after all. I think I'll remove this and then have this skill here instead. And I'll be right back. I'm gonna enter battle and show you guys what it looks like when you activate this. So be right back. Okay, here we are in the battlefield. Here is the animation. So you go in here and then you select whichever direction you want to go. And I'm gonna go like this. Yep, and just like that. After they've been hit, they are unable to move freely. As you can see, they're all forced to go in straight lines on the movement, which is going to be huge for many scenarios. But in reality, in PvP, they can prevent that by just applying Axiom on themselves or using Frozen Seal as a barrier. That will completely cancel this debuff on there. So yeah, I don't think Ricky should be played at Apex at all in the current meta. Not yet. Because Frozen Seal kind of make Ricky a dead pick, as well as Ilya. Like anybody that can prevent debuffs, that is pretty nasty. So yeah, I'll just cut to the conclusion right now. Okay, overall, what do I think about Ricky? He is pretty nice to have on your team. But as for the collecting purposes, might as well just get him if you don't have him. Especially from the past few days, I got him from the Destiny Summon, which is a huge thing because I've been missing this character for a long time until now. Do I think he is PvP viable? I would say no, hard no, because of a lot of metas going on in the game right now for PvP. He's not great there, but he can make some work in PvE since his mobility manipulation, or I should say forced straight line movement, is still a thing for PvE. So I could see him being useful there, but other than that, he's not useful for PvP. So, anyways, that's it for this video. Hope y'all find this video helpful or informative, and I'll see you all next time. Whatever comes first, of course.